If you've been in the crypto markets over the last couple months or even the last year or two during this bear market, you know that a lot of altcoins are bleeding. They are bleeding dry, and most of them won't ever get back to that old all-time high. There are a select few altcoins that have done very, very well though over this bear market. You might be familiar with Caspa. It's been doing particularly well, and I want to highlight Alephium because I think it has a lot of the parallels to something like Caspa that has done really well and can do really well. Now, Caspa was released in 2021. Alephium also released in 2021. Both of them did not have the ability to be super hyped up because, you know, they were on the back end of the crypto bull market. They didn't have a lot of time to get hyped up, and they didn't have a lot of time for that price to build up. While they did dilute in price a little bit over the bear market, we already see both of these coming into new all-time highs and pushing great price appreciation. So I want to talk about Alephium. I want to talk about why this is probably a pretty awesome crypto to watch for 2024. And I want to just show you some of the technology in order for you to have an understanding of what you're looking at and what you might be investing in. I know the technology is always kind of a little confusing and a little boring, and trust me, the technology confuses me as well, all right? Especially something like Alephium, which is like so advanced. It has a lot of things that, you know, we're going to touch on, but please look into a little bit more because I definitely will mess something up here. Without further ado, let's talk about the technology of Alephium and what makes this blockchain important. So Alephium is going to be your standard third generation blockchain. It's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum, but it's kind of seen what both of these blockchains do, and it's bringing together a better version of both of them. We see this a lot in Solana, Caspa, Alephium, Ergo, Cardano. They're trying to do something different. They're trying to bring all these together to solve the blockchain trilemma, and that's what Alephium is going to try and do. Now, the technology behind Alephium is a little intimidating, but I want to try and break it down really simply. So Alephium is a proof of less work, stateful UTXO blockchain, but these words kind of mean nothing unless we understand the core foundation. So proof of less work is essentially like proof of work Bitcoin mining, but it just uses less energy. An example we can use is if it costs $1,000 to mine a Bitcoin, and when you mine a Bitcoin, you get 1,500. Essentially, that mining cost of $1,000 is pure energy use. Alephium looks to change this by saying, okay, it's $1,000 to mine one Alephium, and Alephium's worth $1,500. Same scenario we just talked about with the Bitcoin. Now, in this $1,000 of energy that has to be, you know, mined, Alephium says, well, only 15% needs to be mined, and the other 85% we can just burn some ALPH tokens to pay for the energy. So instead of being a purely mineable coin, Alephium uses 85% burn of Alephium to mine more Alephium. This causes less energy to be used, which inherently is named proof of less work. If that's a little confusing and I didn't say it perfectly, I'll put some stuff in the description for you to read about it more, okay? After the proof of less work though, you know, Alephium's using a lot of proof of work structure, a lot of history that Bitcoin has and security in proof of work. So just think of proof of less work as using less energy, but still as secure as proof of work. After this, the next thing you're going to want to know about Alephium is that it is a stateful UTXO blockchain. It's actually the first stateful UTXO. Chang Wang, the founder of Alephium, accidentally kind of found stateful UTXO from some other research and brought it into Alephium to change the blockchain game. Stateful UTXO essentially means that we're going to have a Bitcoin style, Cardano style, Ergo style UTXO block, which is, you know, more private, more secure than a traditional accounts-based block. But stateful UTXO also recognizes that Ethereum is more programmable than Bitcoin and Cardano. It's easier to use, it's easier to program, and the accounts-based model is much more like modern checking accounts or modern savings accounts. They have all of your coins and investments linked to you, and so it makes it inherently easier for developers and blockchain builders. From this, the stateful UTXO means we're going to take the UTXO model and we're going to bring some Ethereum into it. We're going to have DAG block structure, and we're going to have sharding to make things a little bit faster, a little bit more programmable, and a little bit easier to use. So all you need to know about stateful UTXO is that it's private and it's secure and it holds Bitcoin constraints, right? But it also recognizes Ethereum programmability is better. It allows the blockchain to work faster. It allows devs to do easier work and allows things to be more programmable and easier for the backend developers and the front end users. The last cool piece of technology you need to know about Alephium, I mean, we go on all day about it, but the major thing is that they have a working bridge. Now they're using the wormhole bridge structure, which much like historical value of Bitcoin, historical value of the proof of work, the wormhole structure has been around. So Alephium is taking a lot of history in blockchain and trying to use it to their advantage to be secure, stable, and good from the get-go. So they're using wormhole bridge infrastructure, which is inherently safer, and it's already built to the Ethereum blockchain. Now, for me as an Alephium investor, this is a good sign. I want that Ethereum liquidity over to Alephium. I want Ethereum degens and Ethereum NFT investors and Ethereum L2s knowing about Alephium, bringing them on over. So I think this is a great move by the team. The bridge is super simple and easy to use. It's literally like one screen and it's like you're swapping tokens. If you're unfamiliar with bridge infrastructures, we can do a whole nother video on the Alephium bridge. If you'd like to, put a comment down below. There's a couple videos out there, but I can make one and talk about the Alephium bridge for 10 minutes and show you how to use it if you'd like. But the bridges are super simple. You take your Alephium or any ALPH token and you just say, I want to bridge it to Ethereum. It gets locked in the bridge and your Ethereum version is popped out on the other side. Same thing with Ethereum and Ethereum native tokens being ported to Alephium. So once Alephium starts building out its DApp infrastructure, its lending protocols, its DEXs, you're going to see a lot of Ethereum-based tokens being able to be used on either side of the chain. All right, that was a lot of information. Feel free to take a breather, but that is the technology that makes Alephium special. You can think of this blockchain as a Bitcoin and Ethereum hybrid. I think it has a lot of future potential, at least for the technology. This is something I love about investing in Cardano. It's like my Cardano investment can just kind of do nothing, but I feel very happy with my ability to invest into something that's put out a lot of papers and a lot of crypto work and has really helped the industry. I think the same thing is happening for Alephium. You know, I got a little money in Alephium. If it goes away, whatever, right? I'm very, very proud of what the Alephium proof of less work stable UTXO model has done, and I think it's going to help push crypto forward. Alephium can be a better investment than Bitcoin and Ethereum simply because of this technology. While the technology, it is riskier, but I mean, if the blockchain technology itself doesn't grow, the industry itself is not going to grow. So industries are always evolving and growing, and my personal belief is that something like Alephium will help to push the industry forward, where Bitcoin and Ethereum will probably see less gains because they're technically older, safer technology. Alephium is the obvious next iteration of bringing these technologies together. You're going to invest into something that's riskier, but you're going to get a better technological feat when they pull it off, which, I mean, it's live, it's working, it's pulled off, right? We just need to get users in there. But Alephium inherently is a better technology idea. Now we just need to see if we can bring it into the masses and into more fruition. So if you're wondering why you would invest into Alephium, it's because of the next generation of technology. We look at Bitcoin, we look at Ethereum, these are a little bit safer investments, but you don't expect the technology to change anytime soon, and that's good. They were there innovating first. Now we have things like Alephium, which are here to innovate for the next generation. All that technology is great, but I'm sure you're wondering, how does that technology transfer into price appreciation? And does that make the ALPH token a good token to purchase? Now, if we're looking at the token today, the token's sitting at around $2. Maybe it's at $2.50, $2, something around there. The current market cap, I think, is like 200 million, and the fully diluted market cap is 2.5 billion. Now, yes, you heard that right. A lot of people criticize Alephium because of its high token supply, and I know it's mined over the next 80 or so years, but I want to show you some reasons why Alephium's ALPH token might actually do pretty well in 2024 and 2025 in the short term. Long term, I think you got to worry about how to keep up with token inflation. And, you know, if you're not a miner, maybe you have to use some lending protocols to keep up with that token inflation. But if you shorten your time horizon and only look at the next 2 years, I think Alephium's ALPH token can be a really good hold for a simple return. Now, when you do the math of what's going on here in the market cap versus fully diluted market cap scenario, you might change your mind about what the ALPH fully diluted market cap really means. So in order to kind of explain this ALPH idea, I want to show you the Kaspa version of this. Now, Kaspa is currently sitting at around a $2.5 billion market cap and a $3.3 billion fully diluted market cap. Now, I want to use Kaspa as an example because Kaspa and Alephium are two peas in a pod when it comes to technology. Alephium's kind of already out there and usable, but it doesn't have as much recognition as Kaspa. Kaspa has a ton of recognition, but the blockchain's not even live. So I like to think of both of these, they're both proof of work, they both came out in 2021, so they're really similar. They're like brother and sister tokens. So I think they're making good comparisons between the two. Now, we see that Kaspa has a lot more tokens in circulation, therefore a higher market cap to fully diluted market cap ratio, right? They're closer in ratio to each other. Alephium, on the other hand, not as many tokens are in circulation. It's vesting or mineable over 80 years, and therefore the tokens won't be circulating anytime soon. But people are comparing apples to apples when I think we're comparing apples to oranges. One analyst on X put this really well, and I want to put it on the screen while we talk about it. But essentially, you can see how based on the given 14% ALPH that was mined in the Genesis block, plus the current mining schedule, there's no way that we can be over about 200 million ALPH in circulating supply around 2025. If we look at the current price of about $2 on top of the 200 million circulating supply, we get about a 400 million market cap for the ALPH token. Now, if you compare this 400 million market cap to something like a Caspa, you can see how there's room for this token to actually clear this gap and do about a 5x between now and 2025, closing the gap for something like 500 million to 2.5 billion. This would put ALPH much closer to Caspa, which I think it relatively is equal to. Now, this doesn't include Caspa growing at all. The Caspa current market cap can continue to grow, which means ALPH would then have more room to go. I'm just comparing two blockchains that are really similar, and if people believe this about Caspa, I think the same thing holds true for Alephium. They're essentially the exact same thing, working the exact same way, and until Caspa comes out, and until Alephium grows, we won't know how they differ from each other much. But you can see how the large supply that is not released is not going to affect you if you are a short-term investor over the next year or two. The goal of this trade right here, the goal of this investment, if you're watching this video, is to get in now. You'd get it at around this $2 level, and you would want to sell it all in 2025 when that bull market starts to peak. You need to have a plan to sell, to get rid of profits. But ultimately, I think we're looking to target a price of around $5 to $10 for the Alephium token. A lot of people are calling for more of a $10 price for Alephium, a 5x from the current price. Again, this doesn't account for any growth in Caspa. Whatever Caspa grows, while it's still comparable to Alephium, we would want to compare it to it. So if Caspa does a double from here, we would add that to the 5x of what Alephium is possible. Now, at any point in time, if you're going to take this trade, you need to understand that if one blockchain really starts outproposing each other, you got to recalculate and compare it to something else, right? But I think these are two very solid cryptos to compare. And I think this does show how Alephium could be worth $10 in 2025 on a per ALPH basis. Again, I want to stress that this is a short-term play, and if you're going to hold for more than 2025, you're going to hold from 2026 to 2030, you need to have a way to keep up with token inflation because that will eat you alive. That's something we recognize and something I'm planning to kind of counteract by selling all my ALPH in 2025. In order to keep up with inflation, you have a couple of options. You can become an ALPH miner, which I'm not going to do, or you can keep up by lending it out on lending protocols when those become active. I'm sure eventually someone's going to make a lending protocol on the Alephium blockchain because every blockchain needs a lending protocol for financial money, right? So when that happens, you can take charge of your money, take charge of your ALPH and lend it out to other people in order to earn interest and keep up with ALPH's inflation. If you can successfully do that, then you don't ever have to sell, and you can sell it in like 2030 or whenever you think it's going to happen. Me personally, my strategy is to sell in 2025 or whenever that bull market top is. It could be late 2024, it could be 2025, it could be 2026, but I'm aiming to offload the ALPH when that time comes. Overall, Alephium is going to do really well in 2024, as in my opinion. I like what it's bringing to the table technologically, and I like where the price is currently sitting. Just a couple months ago, ALPH was at 40 cents, right? So it has done a great job at keeping up with price inflation or price appreciation compared to the total crypto market. I mean, we don't see major pullbacks. We see, limited holders. Now is really the time to get in on something at the ground floor like Alephium. I mean, if you even want to dive further into the project, there's one DEX on Alephium right now called AN, and they have their own native token. So if you like what Ethereum and Uniswap did, you might want to look at AN and do an Alephium AN type of investment and get some of that AN appreciation for the DEX as well. I think AN has much better tokenomics with a lot more being released, but I can do a whole nother video on AN if you'd like to see it. I'd be curious to know if you're an ALPH holder and what you think the future price value of this is going to be. Do you think $10 is a reasonable target for Alephium? Do you think it's more? Do you think it's less? Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video and we will see you in the next one.